Not the best start to the second day. I just came out and the rear tyre's flat. So I'll just go find a place for breakfast and fix it. Bit of a slow start this morning. I had the puncture, and then I had a nice chat with Roy, had some breakfast, so I didn't actually start until about 10 a.m. Then cycled for like an hour and a half, did 25 kilometers. It was really hot, so I stopped at a Cafe Amazon for a while, did a little bit of work. Now back on the road, and there's a long way to go. So the elevation profile of the entire route to Bangkok is mostly downhill and flat. But just over the next 60 kilometers, it's uphill. So today, it's uphill and then easy going after that. So maybe today isn't the most successful day, but we can just try our best and keep going. Wonder where this road goes. So yesterday I talked a bit about Kong, the cycle tourist from Malaysia. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about Vivek. And each of them had some kind of inspiration, gave me some kind of inspiration. So today I'll talk about Vivek. Kong and I got to Chiang Mai and stayed there a couple of days. Then he went away, and that night I bumped into Vivek on a night out. We were just at the same like food stall, and just started chatting there. For some reason, I just wanted to say hi to him, and did, and we started talking. He told me about his life a little bit. I told him about what I'm doing, and he had some kind of advice, or some kind of opinion, if you like. So Vivek's like 38. 10 years older than me, and he's a lawyer, has his own law firm in Malaysia. I think he employs maybe about 10 people. Reasonably successful career so far. And he'd just been to London, and he's starting some kind of international contract, so he's expanding his law firm. Quite a driven, successful person. And he's also part of the Freemasons. So he said he went to like some sort of Freemasonry meeting in London recently, and he said that the Freemasons are very popular it's quite an established, popular thing in Malaysia at the moment, and it's a very good like networking opportunity, or it's very good for networking. Anyway, I was talking about what I'm doing and told him about cycle touring and exploring these countries, and he asked, like, what's your plan for the future? I told him that I hadn't finished my PhD yet, but that I was intending to in the next few months. And he seemed to think that it was very, very, very important. Very important. Whereas until that point, I didn't think it was that important. Or like, maybe it's a good thing to have, but not really essential. But no, he thought it was very important, very important. And he made this observation that in Asia, the business world is very competitive. So many people, all competing for the same resources. I suppose this is especially true in the law fields where he works. And I suppose in the law fields, the qualifications are important. So this maybe is why he has that perspective. But yeah, no, he said in Asia things are very competitive, and so any sort of failure is quite damaging. And he made this observation that he thinks European people, Western people, tend to be insulated from their failures. So, okay, you fail some exam or you don't pass the degree, but you can still... hello, hi. You can still, get a job somewhere and make 35k or something, you could still save £500 a month and go traveling around Asia and have fun, and your life isn't going to be that detrimentally affected if you say fail an exam or something. Whereas he was saying in Asia it's very different. Competitive, and these things are important. And I was telling him about what I'm doing, my plan to cycle around for a few months, go to China for a bit, go hang out in India, maybe try and do a bit of tutoring or figure out some sort of coding projects, do some coding projects. And eventually maybe start thinking about applying for jobs in Malaysia or Hong Kong, Singapore, something to do with emerging markets equity analysis. And his impression was that I'm a bit too relaxed. He said, you should really make a plan and follow it, rather than just kind of bumming about and seeing what happens and hoping for the best. And you can see why he would have that perspective after the life he's had. So I think after university at 23, he went to work for a law firm, worked very hard, worked his way up, and then eventually started his own law firm around my age. And he has a very, very busy schedule and very driven. So you could see how he has this perspective. But we talked a lot, and we only talked that evening. Had some food, but it was a very deep conversation. We talked about what makes you happy in life. he claimed that he was very happy and satisfied in his life. I think he maybe had a son, or at least had a wife in Thailand. Yeah, but he was there on the Freemasonry holiday, there with his Freemason buddies. Yeah, so we just had some conversation, and he said, make a plan. He said, if you want to get a job in equity analysis, write your CV up, send it off to a few companies. Don't hang about. I tend to think that, maybe he didn't see the bigger picture. That, maybe there's also some value in taking time to think about what to do and deciding on how to proceed with things, rather than rushing into something. Because I think if you rush into something, there's a tendency to get stuck in one particular place, rather than having the freedom to do different things. And it's interesting comparing Vivek with Kong, because Kong's completely the opposite. Vivek's, you could say, very materially successful, has his law firm, works very hard, makes a lot of money, can travel a lot, but he's sort of time limited. Whereas Kong is completely the opposite. He's cycle touring, has very, very little money, but has immense freedom. He can do whatever he wants each day, and he can sleep anywhere, live anywhere, and he's just cycling around, living this kind of nomadic, free lifestyle, away from the pressures and responsibilities of work and of that most people live with. So in a way, Kong has something that Vivek doesn't have, which is this freedom to live his days how he feels, even whilst having very little money. But at the same time, he has much more money than he needs, which is the interesting thing. He makes maybe $500 a month, but he only needs $250. Whereas Vivek probably makes a lot more, but he probably spends a lot more as well. So it was interesting talking to those two individuals back to back, both from Malaysia. But Kong's Chinese ancestry and Vivek's Indian ancestry. So he had kind of a strong, like, British Indian accent. Interesting characters. And tomorrow I'll talk about Sandeep, who's from Myanmar. He fled Myanmar to escape conscription into the army. Well, his family did. He's only 20, just finishing up with school. And his family moved to Bangkok. First he went to India for a bit to finish his high school, and then moved to Bangkok with his family. So I'll talk about Sandeep tomorrow. So this is the highest point on the road to Bangkok. From here there's like a 10-kilometer downhill, and then after that it's almost entirely flat the whole way. So that's pretty nice, pretty nice. So far only done like 50 kilometers, but I'll get like 10 kilometers for free on the downhill, and then maybe try and do another like 10 or 20 after that. Find a place to sleep. Early start tomorrow. Try and do more tomorrow. My pedal foot slipped off the pedal. Just briefly got caught in the spokes. Oh dear. Maybe it's edible. Looks alright. Let's give it a try. And just like that, life takes away and life gives. It's a bit small though. A bit small though. Yeah, it's too small, but it's alright. Use it for now. Check out this road. Downhill all the way. So we've just arrived in this little town called, on Google Maps it's called Mu 7. And so I'll find a hotel here, stop for the night. Only did 80 kilometers, but tomorrow I'll get a bit earlier and do more probably.